I have become someone who's always checking the ingredients on whatever goes into my body, food and beverage. I'm trying to be especially careful with my diet, or my new way of trying to fuel my body. I take with me a little device from Weight Watchers. And by using this device, I can look up the ingredients of any particular item I'm picking out of the counter, punch in the calories, the saturated fat, the sugar and the protein, and come up with the points I'm going to have to spend that day if I'm going to eat that particular food. When I do my tracking, I do pretty well at it. I've lost 74 pounds on Weight Watchers. I turned 74 about 10 days ago. And I'm still striving to get to the magic number that will give me a chance to go to Weight Watchers free without having to pay anymore. That is additional incentive to be good. The FDA tries very much to protect us from the food that goes into our bodies. And there's been a lot of attempts made to increase the amount of information that you find on soup cans, etc. Much of it still remains Greek or maybe Japanese to me. If you look at the bulletin cover that Becky picked out for us today, what is this stuff we're putting into our body? I do understand water, that's as far as it goes. The rest of it, all these chemical kind of things, does have some kind of effect on us. Likewise, whatever we do, or think, or say, also makes up ingredients that are a part of us. And sometimes we're not so careful about what it is that we are allowing to be part of the ingredients of our lives. Not all ingredients can easily be seen in our food supply. I will confess this myself, that one of my hobbies is making chocolates during the holiday times. And the chocolate that I buy, the little melts, come with ingredients on it. But I oftentimes add ingredients to that I don't tell people about. Mineral oils sometimes give it a flavor, like raspberry or caramel, which is not initially in the chocolate, but adds flavor to the chocolate. Probably the craziest thing I add to my chocolates is wax. No, not the wax you see in candles. Not that bad. There's a cooking paraffin that you can use, which does two things for me. It keeps the moisture in the chocolate. As I use it and melt it down, sometimes it loses some of the moisture, and the paraffin helps to keep that moisture into the chocolate. And also it gives a nice shiny finish to the chocolate once it's finished. They're much more attractive for people to look at and want to eat. Some folks find it hard to eat it. You just want to hold on to it and save it as a kind of special little trophy, which is kind of nice for me. The second hobby I have is that of photography. With the new age that we have in photography, we can do so many things to a picture. So sometimes the pictures that I show have excluded some things that are in the original picture. Sometimes I've added things to the original picture. So you really don't know for sure what was in the original picture. Today I had a real laugh when Rob came in the office, and Rob showed me a new tool that he has where he can merge together two faces. I mentioned it for one because it's fun to do. But also you can kind of merge together saint and sinner, wheat and wheatiness. I'm not going to say which part of the face is which, that's up for you to decide. I think you will see both of those things included. If Rob has his chance, I'm sure he'll show you some of those pictures that have been woven together so beautifully. They really are funny. In the passage today from Matthew, it's a parable that follows the one that Rob spoke about last week with the sower going forth to sow seed. Remember, some of those seeds fell on good soil, but some also fell on bare ground and rocky soil among thorns. This sower is a little bit more careful. He make sure that all of the seeds that he has sowed falls in good fertile ground. The problem is in this parable, remember parables are not always exactly true, but are stories that help to project the point. Satan or the evil one comes during the night, or a bad neighbor, and plants some other seeds into the fertile soil, which are weeds. And some of the workers of the field recognize this, and they go to the owner of the field and say, "You want us to separate the weeds from the wheat?" The owner knows how closely they are together. He knows that by tearing up the weeds, it might actually injure some of the wheat that's in the field. So he says, wait till the harvest, and the reapers will come. And they'll be the ones who will separate the wheat from the weeds, thereby showing us the patience and concern that God has for all of God's children planted in the fertile soil. The reapers become angels, diviners from heaven, other creatures who would very easily be able to distinguish, more than we would ever be able to do, the wheat from the weeds. I could not tell you how many times I pulled up good flowers from the garden thinking that they were weeds, and guess what? They weren't. Or when I'm yanking out a weed, I pull up a nice flower that's next to it. I did that just yesterday, in fact. And so there's wisdom that comes to us in this parable this morning. Now, we strive in our own personal lives to be as wheaty as we can possibly be. And well, wheaties are the breakfast of champions, right? So we want to be champions for our family, for our community, for God. So we're focused on what is the wheat in our lives. At the same time, we are aware, not because the devil makes us do it, but we are aware that there are sometimes we make choices, or sometimes they feel like choices are outside of our control, that make us more like weeds than wheat. Now, I always felt, as a child growing up, my sister had an advantage over me. She was older, for one thing. But I remember a little ditty that somebody my age might also remember. What are little girls made of? Sugar, spices, everything. Nice, that's what little girls are made of. And what are boys made of? Snips and snails and puppy dog tails. What chance did I have? Horrible, isn't it? And yet, I have to realize that that was only a fable. Blaise Pascal, who was a 17th century mathematician and Catholic theologian, among other things, said that all of people could be divided up into two classifications. People who are righteous, who thought they were sinners, and people who are sinners, who thought they were righteous. Kind of reminds me of the story in the New Testament of the two that came into the temple to pray. And the self-righteous one said, "Thank God I'm not like this person over here, a sinner." And the sinner would say to God, "I know I'm a sinner, and I confess to you," and thereby, in God's eyes, was certainly the righteous one. It's a difficult task we have indeed then, to separate weed and wheat. And they do cause great harm in doing so. One way to try to protect ourselves is to build walls. To make ourselves a very small community. Have friends only like ourselves. Block out anyone who might be destructive in our lives. The Essenes tried to do this. We know something about the Essenes from the Dead Sea Scrolls that we found. They were a very exclusive society that kept people out. They had harsh rules. To become an Essene meant you had to take on certain disciplines that were really, really tough disciplines. And by doing so, they were trying to keep the weeds away from who they were. By the process, one of those things was celibacy. So you guess what happened to the Essenes. And months later, that happened also to the Shakers, who practiced celibacy and wound up also ending who they were as their present reality in life. The Pharisees tried to do it in a little different way. They also didn't separate themselves from life, but they had millions and millions of rules and regulations about what it was to be a Pharisee. And they were self-righteous people, and they were good people. But they were just so constricted with all the do's and don'ts. And we have these kinds of people today as well. People who want to build walls, not bridges. I'm talking about physical and spiritual kinds. And getting rid of weeds that don't fit into our notions of purity. There are churches that set high bars for membership. We welcome you. I love the phrase that UCC uses. No matter where you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. But there are some churches that say, oh, you're welcome here if you do this, this, and that. If you believe the scriptures as we proclaim them to you and interpret them to you. If you tithe a certain amount of income and tell us what your income is, then you're welcome here on your life's journey. Sometimes we separate people because of our jargon. And people first come to a church if they're looking to come to a church. They don't understand all the dogma. So then they are confused as my saying Ohio gozaimasu to you this morning. They have no idea what you're talking about. Grace is a woman's name. Or grace is a prayer sometimes spoken before a meal. They have no idea of the power of grace. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. They may have heard the hymn, but they have no idea how it changed the life of a sea captain who was engaged in slavery, made him a preacher of God's word. This leads into another difficulty that we have. If you see a can of soup on the shelf, the ingredients are there. You know what's in there? Maybe you can read the Greek that's there along on the label. But when it comes to human beings, that's not the case. One of the strangest miracles in the Bible is when Jesus is at a celebration of a wedding. And he changes water into wine. Now, how do you handle the ingredients in that? The reality is that any person who is a weed can become wheat somewhere in the process. There's a transformational power that God gives to us that can help us in our weediness to make us more like wheat. And therefore, we should not ever attempt to cut it out before the final harvest. And the Supreme Court judge, not chosen by any particular party, is there for a lifetime to understand who we are, our journey, and to make a decision based upon that particular moment in time, not before. Think of some of the Bible heroes. If they had been cut off before the time that God could change them and transform them into something else. Moses, although he had perhaps the righteousness to do it, killed a person who was whipping slaves. Cain killed his brother Abel. Abraham and Isaac, these brave men, right? They both lied about their wives in order, when they're traveling in foreign lands, to protect their own skin. Jacob and Esau. Esau willing to sell his birthright to satisfy a physical need for some soup. Jacob, who would combine with Rebekah, who loved him, to rob Esau of the father's blessing. No wonder he was afraid. Yet down the road, there was a joining together once again of Esau and Jacob in forgiveness. Well, they went separate ways. They were never close, as two brothers might be in life. Not any easier in the New Testament, my friends. What if Saul had been plucked off by God Not stricken down with blindness, but stricken to death on the road to Damascus because of his persecution of the people of the way. But God saw something in Saul, this Pharisee, that could be transformed into something beautiful. James and John, the sons of thunder, each one trying to fight over who's going to be sitting at the best seat in God's kingdom. Since my middle name is Peter, I always have an attachment to Peter. Impetuous Peter, who would act before he would think, and who would deny Jesus. What if he was cut off at that point? Or doubting Thomas, or any of the disciples, cut off before their time, would not have been who God had intended them to be. One of the most powerful UCC devotions was in yesterday's email to me. Some of you I know get it. It speaks to me of my belief very strongly that people should never have their lives taken from them. Death penalty I'm talking about. The Killers of Grace by Matt Fitzgerald. He visits this prisoner, a confessed murderer who murdered a teenage girl 21 years later. He's still on death row. And Matt, he expresses his discomfort with this prisoner. Because the prisoner says grace over and over again. Unmerited grace, freely given grace, undeserved grace. Matt says, I flinched. That's when things got even more disturbing. Listen, the prisoner says, I'll never forget my crime. It is always deeply, deeply disturbing to me. But there has to come a point where you receive forgiveness and then forgive yourself. Not to justify your actions, but to let God be God. Let God be God. He kicked his legs and waved his hands, his shackles rattled as he spoke. I'm not letting myself be restricted. I'm a person who is loved and forgiven by God. And then that goes on to say, grace is easy to preach. It can strike you like lightning, strikes a tree. Christ burned my understanding of justice and decency to the ground. Sometimes the embers still rise up. I know that what I believe about God is true. That killer is beloved. I walked on to death row expecting monsters. Instead, the most unnerving thing I encountered was the grace of God. We can never cut God off from the transformation and power of changing a person's life. We ask for that in our own lives. Why take that opportunity away from somebody else? There's a story, not true, it's a parable, of a boy whose father died of cancer. The father always used to help the boy with his practice swing in baseball for Little League. And other boys were having their fathers with them, practicing in their fields, in their homes. This boy didn't have his father anymore. So he decided to take a bat in his hands and he took a ball, I've done this many times myself, throw the ball up in the air and swing. And he missed. Unbeknownst to the boy, there was a neighbor next door by the fence. Strike one! Kid, unperturbed, gets the ball again, puts his bat back, throws it up in the air, swings again. Strike two! Comes the shout. The boy tries one more time, picks up the ball, throws it up in the air, swings the bat. Like Casey. He struck out. Strike three! Boy, you are a lousy hitter! Comes the cry. I think that's the church sometimes. You know, 3 strikes are out. That's it. I've forgiven you, that's enough. No more. But This boy was something else. He walked over to the man. He said, I am not a lousy batter. I'm a fantastic pitcher. I sucked myself out. I want you to know that about yourselves. You don't strike out. You can reframe that and feel God's presence in your lives. Al Bolton says, Woodmont United Church of Christ is there to reveal God's unconditional love by accepting and welcoming all people through joyful and creative worship, faithful service, and spiritual growth. I might add to that this morning. There to reveal as best we can God's unconditional love. We are a congregation of saints and sinners. We are weeds and weeds. But together we welcome you on this journey, no matter where you are. And through our worship and joyful, faithful service and spiritual growth, we invite you to participate in the transformational power that we need and we feel that you need. Now may I hear this congregation of saints and sinners yell, Amen.
Amen.
So be it.